My name is Christy, and this is my story. I came from a large family, 6 girls and 2 boys, and when I was around 11 years old, my parents divorced. During that time, there were so many things that were outside of my control and so many things that I didn't understand, and it was very, very difficult, and I became very angry very quickly. I still remember the first day that I saw the for sale sign in the yard of my childhood home, and I remember the day that we moved out of that house, and I saw my older sister Sue standing in the window and just tears streaming and her eyes closed and her face tilted to heaven, and she was praying. And although I had been to church a few times with an aunt and uncle in my elementary ages, I had never seen anybody pray outside of church. And Sue had become a Christian in her 20s after she had married and moved out of the house. And it just moved me to see her praying outside of that church setting and praying for our family. And the anger, though, that I felt through all of that just made me stuck. I got stuck in that anger as a little girl, and I just demanded attention, and I demanded to be dealt with, and I just was looking for something to put all of those pieces back together again. And I lived that way for 19 years. For 19 years, I lived in that anger. And in my 30s, after I had 3 children and my own divorces, my mother, who had since become a Christian and connected with the church, began taking my children to church. And through the pleading of my children, I attended the church with them. And the pastor was very kind and very patient. And after the services, he always spent time with me answering questions. And he would always end our conversations with, God has a plan for your life. Jeremiah 29:11 tells us that God has a plan for us, a plan for a future and hope and prosperity. And I just remember thinking, it doesn't seem like there was a plan for me. I worked a lot, and I still struggled to make ends meet, to provide for my kids, and I still couldn't keep a relationship together. So with the people that wanted to love me, I kept intentionally hurting them and pushing them away. And then through a Bible study, I learned that not only does God have a plan for our life, but so does Satan. 1 Peter 5:8 says, "Be self-controlled and alert. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour." And Satan's greatest trick is convincing others that he doesn't exist. And one day I just fell to my knees and I asked God to fill me with His Holy Spirit and to dwell in me and to give me that peace. And then I walked down that aisle to my pastor and I asked to be baptized. And that's when the real work started. And also the divine peace that I felt. I'm now married. Actually, today is my 13th year wedding anniversary, and I have another daughter, and I have 2 grandchildren. And in joyful times and in hard times, I don't know where I would be without my relationship with God and without my church family. Thank you for listening to my story.